Coming straight at you for episode 4. This is a little podcast I now like to call Just Okay Movies.
We're just okay and we play some
Movies.
games. We're just okay.
Movie watchers.
Previously on X-Men.
Whoa! This is the good one! Done.
It's so loud. Whoops, it stopped.
Damn, Guido, you went all out.
Yeah, I downloaded the theme.
Just Okay Movies is brought to you by the kind donations made on patreon.com. Go to patreon.com/justokgamers. You know what? I challenge you. You know, if you're not donating already, donate $2 a month. I know it does not sound like a lot, you know, but believe me, that $2 can go a long way of helping these guys pump out more content for us. So I challenge you, if you're not doing that already, please do it.
Jeez, we don't even plug it that well.
I'm passionate
Us look
about it. But speaking
Thanks,
of which,
Biggie.
oh hey, no problem, Millpool, no problem. Joining me as always is the Just Okay Gamers crew. We have
My name is Guido.
And Wally, and if you're over the age of 28, you probably knew what that theme song was. Otherwise, probably not.
Hey, what's
Hey,
up,
guys.
guys? It's Millpool.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nasty.
guys. It has been a hot minute since we've done this. It feels like it's been forever.
Yeah,
It's been a while, some might say.
it has been a few moments in time.
I mean, like, considering that podcast is almost 2 hours long, you know, it kind of really does feel like it's been a very long time.
Right. That's 4 months of podcast. I mean, I don't even know why we're here doing this for you.
Well, I think we were all really, really excited to see Logan. No doubt, I believe I know from my point of view, I wasn't all that excited about the movie, but once that trailer dropped, it's like you could just like taste the excitement. You know, it just I felt like it drummed up so much attention where it's like, okay, another Logan movie's coming out, that's great, but it really hit home.
The trailer was super well made. Just that song selection alone was perfect for that trailer. So it got my hopes up pretty high.
No,
did it deliver? Well, and that remains to be seen.
We'll get to that, I think.
Nah.
Nah,
Let's just get right
didn't.
to it. Come on.
Podcast over.
Yeah, like, what are we doing?
We're
here?
done. Bye.
Before we do, I do have a sidebar, and I want to know your opinions on if it showed in your theater, the Deadpool featurette, I guess you could call it. Wasn't really a trailer. You guys have any thoughts on it?
I thought it was
dumb.
It was cute.
Right.
It was dumb.
I felt it was it tried too hard, but it was very on point for a Deadpool.
Right. I felt like it went a little too long. It was just kind of like what you felt. I felt it was kind of dumb and very forceful. I mean, it's fine for what it was, you know, Deadpool being Deadpool, but it just felt kind of awkward. Like they were really trying to shove it in there just to try to get some sort of comedy element for a movie that's not really very funny at all.
Right.
Well, it's subjectively funny.
It's subjective. I'll give you that. That is correct. It's not. It's very situational. It's like the situations they find themselves in are in a way just kind of comical and kind of a real life point of view, I guess.
Yeah.
Being that made sense.
I thought the funniest part was when old Logan grabbed new Logan's nose and then like between his two fingers, then slapped it with his hand, and then new Logan like rubbed his face downward and went yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Well, I missed that. I didn't realize I missed that part.
Oh, how could you miss it? They just did it over and over for like
Really?
20 minutes straight.
And then they got hired as painters, and it was just... it was a comedy
And then
from
they had
that
to,
point
like-
on.
Then they had to like move that piano up like 4 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
In the building.
One guy was carrying a ladder sideways and swinging around.
Yeah.
It was slapstick.
Although it was
Let's
really
make our
heart
references
touching.
even older. Go.
It was really heart touching when Professor X got up out of his wheelchair and did the Charleston. in front of that black family, and he's like, and he said, "This is how your people dance, right?"
And then like Al Jolson came out, and like that really kind of sold the whole bit.
Right? Oh, yeah, I really like that part. Yeah. Good movie, great, really.
Yeah, so it didn't deliver on the trailer, but it was a good movie.
Yeah, definitely a different tone from the trailer.
Yeah, in fact, they played the trailer right after the Deadpool thing, and then that was every scene in the movie, and then it was just basically everything we just talked about. Crazy movie. I thought it was bold.
Yeah, so
I thought it was fresh.
Quite.
What other single words can be used to describe the movie?
So I gotta say, like every
spectacular,
every nerd boy growing up has the superhero that they that's their superhero, you know. And right. Wolverine was mine. Growing up, Wolverine was the guy I connected a lot with, and was always my favorite. Got a ton of Wolverine comics. I know his story in the comic verse, and I go into every movie knowing that it's not gonna be that guy that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine character. You know?
Really?
He never.
Wait,
he never.
Are they?
You don't think that?
Isn't he lauded for kind of hitting that tone though?
I don't think so. I mean, not in my eyes. There's quite a few things wrong.
Well, it's not accurate to the
comic books. No. I think everybody likes him, which he's a likable Wolverine, which Wolverine shouldn't be, especially in the earlier movies. Like in Logan, he wasn't likable. You know?
No, he did a very good job of coming across that way as well. Like the whole time, like, fuck you, I don't care about people. Don't tell me that I should care about somebody. Many times he said that.
Isn't he always like that though? Like I didn't read the comics as a kid or anything, but it's certainly the impression that I've gotten from him from watching the movies.
He's more of an anti-hero than even the anti-hero you've seen.
Right.
I mean, like way more of an anti-hero in the comics.
Especially earlier in his run in the comic books.
He's not even that mean in the movie. Like he's mean at the start.
At the beginning,
and then, until he finds out that he has a daughter. And then
spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, by the way.
They should know by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, from here on out, other than that spoilers from here on out, so
yeah. Wolverine dies.
Did you know I haven't read the comics in ages, so I had no idea that he's currently dead. I did not know that. I haven't been following at all.
I haven't been following in the past, I don't know, 6 years or so. So I don't know what. Last I read, he was running Xavier's school.
Right.
And Cyclops was training an army. And they had a big fight.
Cyclops off the fucking deep end.
Yeah.
Man, he's like really jumped the shark. And like then there's like that younger generational version of him and the others tooling around too. And
yeah. Wolverine has had some weird shit go on in the comic books. Like they had this whole arc where you find out every time that he is supposed to die, like, you know, gets a bullet to the brain or his head chopped off or blows up, he actually goes into the afterlife and has to fight death.
Whoa.
Wait, he's had his head chopped off and recovered from that?
Yeah.
all kinds of shit's happened to him, man.
Yeah.
Does he grow a new body or
he just grows it back. As long as there's a cell remaining. Anything that you can think of that is violent that has happened, it's happened to Wolverine.
Yeah,
how does he die in Logan?
Right, so that was part
of overdose on the green stuff?
I think that we should go into like the plot a little bit before we start like really picking at like the specific things from the movie. Because we're hinting all over the place of the movie, and we aren't even telling anybody what the movie is.
I'm getting ahead of.
I've been speaking to comic book.
No, I think it's
Wolverine this whole time.
Yeah, it's all comic book Wolverine.
Right. And I think that's a good question because the only Wolverine I know is from the animated series, and I don't remember anything like that happening in that series. So hearing just about the comic book Wolverine is really fascinating.
Yeah.
That is the Disney Wolverine.
That's what it sounds like.
The Pizza Hut Wolverine, if you will, from that generation.
I never knew it got that dark.
He's a lot darker. And my favorite Wolverine thing is when Magneto separated the adamantium from his bones and forced it out through his body. But that was turned him into Jello. Yeah. Oh wait, no. He also got ripped apart during the Infinity Gauntlet. That was good too.
Yeah, he's had a lot of bad things happen to him, and that's why he's my favorite too. Is just like
his bad things constantly happen.
Yeah,
to him,
the most horrible stuff. No, not so much relate, but the most horrible stuff happens to him, and when you're reading it on the page, you're like, "Holy fuck! How is he going to come back from this?" But he always does.
Oh wow!
And it's not cheesy.
Amazing.
Either.
Yeah, and I felt like the movies, so it's coming from just seeing the animated series and the movies up to now. That's just knowing him from that character. I kind of liked him because he felt like not necessarily a real person, I guess you would say, or someone you could relate to, just having kind of really shitty things happen to him through his life, and him having to just kind of live through it and feel like he's being used at times. And I always found him to be, I guess, portrayed as being relatable to a level compared to, I guess, someone like I don't know, maybe like Batman or something like that. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, his story, he's a reluctant mutant, right? Of the X-Men, he's like the most reluctant.
Well,
he doesn't want to be like a huge part of their movement. He just wants to live his life.
Right.
He's more reticent than reluctant. Like, he just has this kind of detachment as opposed to like an active disengagement.
Up until he meets the X-Men, he's like 100 years old.
Right. He's been around forever.
He's a Civil War.
And everyone that he's formed a relationship with has either died by consequences from him or has like turned on him.
And we can't underscore that enough. Literally everyone. Anyone he's ever cared about has met some kind of unfortunate consequence.
And I think that's one thing that this movie did a good job of getting across is that point. You know, he physically said it, but they also did it with like actions and emotions as well. It wasn't just like everybody dies around me as he's happy. No, it was like literally you see every single person that still mattered to him dying around him.
Right. The last remnants of basically this section of his life. Right. The one that we know the most is going away, but this is just, another time that he's had multiple times through his life. But it seems like they kind of portray that, this is the most important one, which I guess is why he ends up ultimately sacrificing himself and not, being more selfish and just letting these people go when he's seen hundreds before die. But he wants to, end it this way to help them.
Right.
And I just think it's Hugh Jackman, right? I just think he does a solid job. I can't say if he's good at Wolverine like Guido can say, but I think for my understanding of the character that he's portrayed from the first X-Men movie to now, I felt like I could attach to him the most as a kind of a vessel of the story, and it's neat to see it end. And I think it was well done how it ended. Which I guess we should just go ahead and jump into. Quit beating around the bush. Let's talk about Logan. Nasty. How about you tell us a little summary of Logan and its plot?
Okay. So, the movie opens up with him sleeping in the back of his limousine. He's a limousine driver currently, and it's the future. 2027, I believe, is what they said. Something around there. I think so. And somebody's trying to steal his tires, and he goes and destroys a bunch of people. And then some bad character, I forget what the guy's name is because he isn't really that important, name-wise, shows up and says, hey, there's this lady that's looking for you. Let me know if you see her. So he also drops a hint. I know that you have the cue ball, I think is what he refers to him as, south of the border. And then we see that he is actually holding Professor Xavier in some small, ragged, old factory that also has a water tower where Professor Xavier is being held currently. And Professor Xavier has a seizure, which causes people to not move. So from there, this girl is a new mutant that was found, even though mutants apparently stopped being born and were eradicated. And then they try to save this girl and take her to North Dakota, so that way she can get into Canada. The whole while, said dude that I don't remember his name is chasing all of them. And along the way, they kind of show you that Logan is sick internally, and Professor Xavier eventually dies. Small thing. And then at the end, Logan dies. Is kind of the bigger points of the movie. It was a 2.5 hour movie, so it's kind of hard to summarize that into a short little segment.
No, you did a good job. That hit all the main points. Ultimately, his goal is to get this mutant girl, which I believe they were
clone, technically.
Formed. Yeah, they were cloned. So basically, they were created from the genes of other mutants that they somehow got or killed, or
right.
So that's how I think her name was X-23. I don't think we ever heard her real name, but basically,
Laura?
Yeah,
was
Laura.
it Laura?
Laura.
Yeah,
Laura,
that's what they called her.
Okay, I could remember that part. She was formed out of Logan's genetics. So they also gave her adamantium claws and other stuff, and so she was real. Could recover from bullet wounds. Very athletic, very strong, and so yeah, no, I think you did a great job. How did everyone feel about the beginning? I felt like the beginning part was done so well in kind of setting the tone of the film and kind of where Logan was at this point.
Yeah,
I love the scene.
Just drunk as shit, and then doesn't want to do anything. He's just like, guys, come on, I'm fucking Logan. I'm tired. I don't want to fuck with you. Stop taking my wheels off of my car.
Please, guys.
Which I gotta say, all the cars in 2017 just look like Chrysler 300s.
Yeah,
they're these giant boxy fuckers.
And the Ford Raptors. Right. If it's a truck, it's jacked up, has big wheels, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
But
I don't really see why they bothered with setting it that far in the future when really there was no real reason to. But still, whatever.
I think. When he actually stops them, they shoot him, and he dodges in front of it to stop the bullet from hitting his car. Which later in the movie you find is pointless because his car is just destroyed later on. But he goes berserker rage and ends up killing all those guys, and it was just like I was pumped because it's like this is the Wolverine I like. And
this is what I wanted to see.
The dude has knives. We've spent the past 9 movies, knives in his hands. We spent the past 9 movies fucking watching him, knock guys out, essentially. Or trip them or do stuff. We get one little taste in Last Stand where he stabs a guy in his chest, but in this he's cutting dudes' arms off and shit.
Yeah, and put some fucking 3 spikes through the back of dude's head that comes fucking right out of his forehead, right above his eyes. It was awesome.
It's a lot of gory claws through head shots in this movie.
Oh, it felt so good. It felt so like he was really, really doing it. That he didn't have to hold himself back.
That comes at a cost, though. Later, I mean, he slows down and then
right.
Which also, by the way, is my favorite line in the movie. Is that so that's what that feels like?
Yeah.
Right.
At the very end when he's dying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, which was weird because I don't think he was talking about the actual thing puncturing his chest.
Not the actual sensation of death.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he never fully died, and maybe he actually maybe there is a distinction or the implication of a distinction in his comment.
We're jumping way to the end, but also I think that he was also it had a double meaning of him referring to, someone caring about his death.
Right.
He became this
maybe
paternal figure, and had a family essentially,
Right.
and he's like, no, he was just talking about dying.
For once he was on the other side of it. You know, he'd been his whole life in Laura's place. I know we're kind of really jumping ahead, but he'd been in Laura's place watching people he cared about die.
Right.
You know, he'd never been on the other end of it.
Good point. That's a much better explanation. Thanks, Nasty. Guido's is dumb.
No, mine's good.
Totally agree.
I think so. It jumps ahead. Let's jump ahead.
Sure.
He has this montage in the early part of it to show, like, well, this is my job as a limo driver. I'm Logan, and
he's
like
driving around like young partying millennials, like standing out of the sunroof partying and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's one point where he has a bridal shower in his back, and they like, one of them pulls her dress down and shit, like flashes her tit.
That was the most half-assed flash ever.
It was.
It was like
flash.
half of a nipple.
I actually didn't even notice that.
And he makes like a face like, oh man, that's just one of the perks of the job. That's a classical thing that happens. And it just felt so out of place. Like they shoehorned it in there.
I agree.
It stuck in my craw.
I feel like of all of the parts of the movie that could have been cut to shorten this 2.5 hour movie down, that would have been one of the parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like 10 minutes of just driving around and like montage-y kind of stuff. We get it. You drive for people as a limo driver.
Yeah, if there was one point that they could have gotten rid of, that would be it. I get why they're doing it, because they really have to set up how he's surviving and how he's trying to help Xavier survive with his condition by trying to not only make money to get him the meds he needs, but also to save up for their boat.
What?
Yeah, I didn't quite understand his plan.
His plan
to go live on a boat with Professor X?
Professor X has this calamity where he can't control his powers. So
doesn't he have Alzheimer's?
I think he's just senile.
Yeah. I mean, that's a calamity,
so fucking
right?
good. It's so great.
And he basically just like freezes everyone in time. They're in horrendous pain, apparently. And he wants to get the boat so that he can bring him out there and just have him live the rest of his life, and also maybe kill him in the process. And if that doesn't happen, if Professor X dies while they're out on that boat, that's what he has the adamantium bullet for. You guys didn't pick up on all this?
I picked up on the killing himself, but like, why do you need a boat to do that? Like,
so he's out in the middle of the ocean, so
but
Xavier's not hurting anyone.
But he needs medication. Professor X needs medication constantly to not have these seizures. So where are they going to get the medication from?
I don't think he planned.
That is kind of a problem.
He didn't plan to. He just wanted the boat to go out to sea, so that he could just.
But why do you need a $75,000 boat to do that? Just go get like a little 12-foot rowboat and do that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they wanted to
like that was my thing.
Well, they may want to live like pirates, just be able to go out in the water, go to the land when they need supplies, and then just go back out. At least that's kind of what I took from it.
But he's like he's living in the water tower. Is he hurting people there other than
no?
Like Logan
apparently,
and the other guy?
Well, he does have episodes there, but apparently that shield, the thing he's in, is supposed to kind of shield his powers a little bit from it, I guess, growing if he has an episode.
It's also not a large, like when he had the seizure in Vegas, it only covered like a few block radius.
Right.
It's not, it doesn't
Oklahoma
just
City.
hit everyone in the world.
But one thing they did, apparently, it seemed like it was urgent to get him out of there, is Xavier was being currently pursued because they considered his mind to be, a weapon of mass destruction. So apparently, whether it be the United States government or some government, were actively looking for him, which is why Logan had him hid out in Mexico.
I mean, there was an awareness of what he did. I guess it made all the headlines the way they were rubbing it in.
Right. because he's feeling he mentions it a lot in the movie how guilty he felt from causing the first incident, the people he hurt and killed. And
when he finally remembered he did, yeah.
Right now Xavier is in an awful time. We see him, he's rolling around.
You're kind of breaking up there a little bit, Biggie.
Wheelchair.
Hello?
Is that me or?
I think it's Biggie.
Oh,
wheelchair.
Wheelchair.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
Oh, that cut out a little.
Yeah. Stop all the downloading, Biggie. Come on.
Oh,
this is a professional podcast.
But that scene really hurt. To see someone who's long and distinct and like Xavier, and see him suffering from this whatever, I guess maybe Alzheimer's, or seeing that
calamity is a
character
good
the
word
love.
too.
Calamity, okay. That was a little painful. It hurt a bit.
Right.
And, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. I think
was
I'm trying to take. Let me take reins here for a second, Biggie, while you figure what's going on. Hello?
I'm losing all of you now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You cut out, Mill, and then
Is it mumble? Maybe.
Yeah,
No, it's fine now.
we're
right?
all good.
Yeah.
we good?
Yeah. We're
Sorry, everybody.
Well, no doubt the plot is a big turn, and he finally. Am I still good? When he finally meets the lady who's been harboring X-23 and is trying to get Logan in North Dakota so she can be safe in what they call the Ark. And that's one thing that was kind of weird. They kept on bringing up X-Men comic books during the some of the plot points, and that was kind of interesting. What you guys think? Did it feel like it took you out of the character a little bit?
Oh yeah, it felt fourth wally to me for sure.
Sure.
Like there was like this element of the fourth wall that he kept breaking every single time he was talking about the comic books, and like, this shit isn't real.
Right.
And it's like, but it's a movie. I get what you're trying to say here, but it just doesn't really like mesh.
I thought it was fine. Like,
I was fine with that stuff.
He was on part of a superhero team, and they made comic books about his adventures. And the comic books were 20% true, like what he said. So, it's like, I guess, what would be the equivalent of a world without superheroes. Someone makes a comic book about, I don't know, some sort of hero. I don't know. Writing stories. They're just writing stories based on his adventures. And that's what she took it. That's what both of them took it as, like, oh, he's here to save us because he's this, swashbuckling superhero, part of the super team.
Right.
I didn't have too much of a problem with the comic books at all. So how about that little girl?
what, Laura?
Yeah, Laura.
She was crazy.
She
a little bit crazy.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie was when you found out that she had traveled in the trunk of Logan's Chrysler 300 limousine and
Product placement.
ended up in their safe house where Xavier and Cabal were, and the bad guys come and try to take her, and she ends up just going fucking nuts and killing a bunch of dudes. That was dope, right?
That was pretty sweet.
Crazy. I mean, it was violent too. I mean, you had this little girl having spikes come out of her feet, like stabbing people in the shins and taking her claws and stabbing them in the face. I mean, they didn't hold back. It was pretty gruesome.
Yeah, we had and also she got shot with a harpoon.
Yeah. Oh god, that was so awesome. But no doubt, I mean, she was extremely dangerous, and that's why they were wanting her. And the reason why they cloned these kids, the plot behind that was they were wanting to make super soldiers, and basically have a monopoly on mutants and sell them to countries to be these great soldiers. And then once they actually made an even better soldier who had basically no form of morality, they decided the reason
Oh, boy.
the North.
Oh dear.
Save
Is
her
it
from
everywhere?
basically getting killed.
What's going on?
Wait, what's
Biggie, you're
wrong?
breaking up, dude.
Am I breaking up? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What's your ping on Mumble or on Discord right now?
Oh, how do you check that?
Just where it says voice connected, hover over the little bars.
30 milliseconds.
Oh, what the shit?
Yeah.
All right, continue.
Okay. So we go we go on basically a big road trip. We've got Logan, we've got Laura, and we've got Xavier, and they get in all kinds of hijinks on the way. A whole family gets killed.
Yeah.
It was actually really sad.
Saw that one coming.
Yeah, they stop at a little farm, a moisture farm or something. He's got wind turbines, or they're making corn syrup or something.
I found the whole
They're
family
making
thing
real
to be a
corn.
little...
Sorry, Wally, what were you saying?
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt. The family thing I thought was a little heavy-handed. That's all. I mean, it's basically a broader metaphor about how he can't befriend anybody and how everybody he befriends dies. It's like, I get it, but I mean, it was acted out fairly well.
Right. It was a necessary part though for Xavier to die there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that it was. You're right.
Well, he's
Yeah,
basically saying, like, this is what I wish for you, Wolverine. I wish that you had what these people have, and if you could just stop and take a moment and drink it in, man, then you'd realize that you could be happy like these people. And he's telling this to a clone of Wolverine. What?
I know, watch out.
And after he's done, he gets some claws to the heart.
Man, that hurt. That hurt so bad seeing that.
It really did.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the more painful parts of the movie, is seeing Xavier die, just because he was just such a great character throughout the whole series, and him dying was definitely kind of an end of an era, for that saga, and it was powerful.
It was worse for me because even though it's so centered on Wolverine, all I could think of is that this is Xavier's legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Like all this work, everything he ever wanted to aspire for, and it's reduced to dying in the middle of nowhere at a farm shed somewhere. I don't know.
Kind of shitty.
Very. And it seemed like he kind of knew that was a possibility throughout the whole film, because you kind of see that regret that, he didn't do things differently, but there was also that bit of hope, especially when they met with the family, that kind of lifted the spirit of the film, but then it just nosedives.
Yeah, because after he stabs the fuck out of Xavier, which is X-24 technically,
I think,
clone of Wolverine, young Wolverine, he then proceeds to murder the whole fuck out of that family.
Right.
I mean, we're talking the little kids, the teenager, the mom, and you're watching all of it. They're not hiding the camera, and it hurts. It's a punch to the gut.
It really was. But that's what Logan needed to make him take Laura up to North Dakota.
Right. I think at that point he realized that was the turning point, that this is really bad, and these kids need a chance.
Right. And he realizes that during a brutal fucking fight against his clone, which I thought was dope. Just
that had me
slashing the shit out of it. Yeah, it had me cringing.
Yeah, and like on the edge of my seat the whole time. And then every other time I saw young Logan, like throughout the clone throughout the movie, it was just like, ooh, not again.
Right. You don't want old Logan to feel that shit again.
Right.
Oh, I love he didn't like fighting him. He was pissed off, and you could just tell he was pissed. You were really pissed for him. Like, let's kick this guy's ass. You still felt heavy because he could not. If it wasn't for the truck hitting that guy, he was probably going to die or get hurt even worse than he already was. You still felt that he was very much outmatched, but he was trying as hard as he could, and that was kind of nice feeling that. and he's lucked out that the truck came and impaled him, the other one.
Yeah, for sure.
It was also the soft, well, maybe the hard introduction of Stryker's child, William Stryker's child, who is now heading up the Weapon X program in Mexico, where these kids came from.
Right.
But yeah, Wolverine goes and licks his wounds, and then in a doctor's office, the doctor's like, "Holy shit, never seen a mutant before." He goes out to a car with X-23, Laura, and he's like, "I'm not taking you nowhere. You know, I'm gonna drop you off somewhere." And then she just, like, she's been mute the whole movie, decides to start yelling at him in Spanish.
And that's where they go. They meet up with the other kids who are a part of that clone program to make the super soldiers. And then they decide to make a break for the border to go into Canada, where they've got people waiting for them to come in and to have asylum there. Yeah. And that's where the big scene comes in, and the last stand of Wolverine. And it is just so much fun. He is like a predator, and it's glorious. I mean, it reminds me a lot of the scene from X2, you know, where he's going through the school,
right?
Just absolutely kicking ass. And but it's like for a good reason, and you were really rooting for him because of his character. And I think it had that same kind of energy, and it was just fun to watch. And
yeah, he was all jacked up on some sort of mutant drug.
That was my favorite part of the movie.
To get all pumped up.
And fucks it up.
The kids are running from these guys with guns, and the kids are all like trained super soldiers, like X-23. I don't know,
right?
Like, I had a little hard time being like, why don't they just turn around and fucking fight them?
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
They eventually did, but
Kid Wars. Sorry,
Kid Wars. Oh my God.
I liked when they were all torturing that one guy, like the main guy, while Wolverine was getting fucked up by X-24. Right. They were all just like huddled around the one guy, literally torturing him. Like, he was already bound, he couldn't move, and there were like 11 or 12 of them just torturing this one guy while Wolverine's getting fucked up right behind them.
Yeah, that part I felt embarrassed about, because it was like, he's trapped, and they wrapped him in vines and did all sorts of shit to him to bind him into that point, you know, blow ice on him, whatever these fucking kids have for powers. And they like the last shot is like this weird ass shot of from the guy's perspective looking up into a bunch of kids like leaning over him like, I'm gonna get you. It was just like
pretty weird.
I felt it was very campy. There's a lot of kind of campy moments. I feel like that was definitely one of them.
Yeah,
it was fun. I don't know if it got the message it wanted across. You know, probably could have been done a little more classy, but yeah, it was fine. But the very end is Logan's fighting X-24, and he's about to he was about to get stabbed, Logan is, and then the girl puts the adamantium bullet in a revolver and blows the brains out of X-24. But at that point, Logan's pretty much dead. The poisoning from his adamantium's kind of gotten to him. He's gotten damaged beyond repair. That his body just can't cope with it.
He's also impaled through his heart on a tree branch.
That as well. That was painful. And that's where he has that line that, you know, this is what it feels like.
Yeah. Which Batman had first when Catwoman disappeared on him. Oh, so that's what that feels
like. Admittedly a better line.
Yeah. I forgot about that. So I mean that's basically Logan. You know, we've jumped around a lot, and it's really because there's moments in the film, and I feel like the overshadowing the tone and the character of Logan kind of struggling through this stuff is probably more interesting to talk about than necessarily the actual instances in the film. And because, you know, it's just a character that is ultimately dying at the end, and it's interesting to see what his final moments are and what he's feeling.
I think that's a good summary to have about anything involving the X-Men franchise.
Yeah.
Because unlike a lot of superhero franchises, one thing that I liked about the X-Men the most is that it was never about. It was always the outside looking in. Like you cared about the characters. They had these giant crosses to bear about identity and who they are, while trying to overcome bias and evil. And with like Batman and Superman, there's always this kind of absolutism and certainty, and about what they were doing that was right. Even like Captain America and stuff. But with the X-Men, they were frail in their own way, and part of the pleasure was seeing how they evolved and dealt with defining themselves in adversity. So this is just an extension of that. It's more about the character than it is about how it transpired.
Right. That you couldn't have said that better. It was always more about these people with these abilities having to live everyday real life with them and the issues that happen. And kind of one thing I found really interesting, about the kids kind of, killing that guy, kind of showing that, he may have saved them, but, I think they're kind of warped because of the situation they were in. It kind of reminded me of Magneto's plot line, being in, was it Auschwitz? He was in the internment camp or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, Magneto was in a camp, Auschwitz.
It kind of just made me think about that, it was that instance that he was in that kind of formed who he was. And these kids kind of went through something similar. Who says they can't become another Magneto or something like that? So it's like this constant cycle, and these people, real life people, just having to deal with these abilities they have and the choices they make with them. And I agree with you, Wally. I think that's the one that makes X-Men so interesting.
Yeah,
agreed.
Well, guys, any final thoughts?
I thought, my overall impression of the movie was I enjoyed it for what it was up until kind of the third act. I didn't really like the last quarter of the movie.
Sure.
Basically everything with the kids.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. I thought the kids were just like, it was a weird, like, oh, these kids have powers. We have to show them using their powers. Everything's kind of shoehorned in there. They don't give any explanation where they're going, just to North Dakota and then across the border to what? Who knows?
To Eden, bro.
Yeah, what is that?
Exactly. What is it?
Well,
that's for the next movie to explain. X-Kids. Coming next year.
Millble's got the scoop.
I mean, I don't know. It's a weird thing I don't really like watching kids fight, I guess, on screen. Like, it's just a weird kind of peeve I have. Like, does the little girl, she has superhuman strength? Is that one of Wolverine's things? Like, he has superhuman strength? Because she was, like, flinging fully grown men around, like, for a good part of the movie.
Wolverine has above average strength, but not superhuman. He's not like, Thor or anything, but yeah, I mean, she's stronger than a normal 12-year-old or however old she was.
I have this like bad feeling that they're going to redo X-Men and it's going to be pretty much all like teenagers or tweens starring in it. And I don't really want to see that.
In a way, they kind of already have with First Class and those.
That's
other
X-Men,
ones.
though. Like, that's X-Men.
Right.
They're teenagers.
Taking in kids that are lost.
They hit puberty. They have these powers they don't know how to deal with, and Professor X teaches them how to use them. Like, that's okay. X-Men.
I guess that's why I never watched many X-Men movies.
Sure.
But yeah, I thought all the fighting was super cool. It was cool to see Wolverine get, the restraints dropped off him and see him how he should be on the screen. It only took 9 movies to make it happen, but
yeah.
I like that the story wasn't about the Earth ending.
Sure.
It wasn't about aliens coming or apocalypse blowing shit up. It was just about getting a girl to safety. And it shows that you can have a superhero movie without that,
right.
without this huge big event happening.
Right.
But overall, I mean, it was an okay movie. Like, I don't think it was super special or great. It was a good send off for Hugh Jackman.
Right.
I suppose.
No, I agree. I think it was okay overall. I would say you should see it, but I don't know if I would see it in theaters.
Yeah, I mean,
Overall.
if you like, if you like the trailer, I don't think you'll be disappointed by the movie at all. It's definitely nothing I would say, people are saying this could just be the first Oscar worthy superhero movie. I don't believe so.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I think the trailer made it look that way, whereas the real film is not. It's very much an X-Men movie. It's just a very simple character story of his final days and what he did with them. And it's fine. I think I liked the previous Wolverine movie more because it was a lot more campy. I just had a little more fun with it. But this one's totally fine.
Yeah, and there already was a superhero movie for that one. It's Oscar worthy. It's the Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
My favorite.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Do you guys think? Do you think what would they have to do to have a new Wolverine? Like if they rebooted or something? And
they're going to probably follow the comics.
It's just the girl.
Yeah.
No,
because she is, by the way, in the comic lore.
I don't think she's enough to carry that franchise.
Mexican,
like Wolverine carried that franchise, and now it's just a little baby Mexican girl Wolverine. And X23.
I mean, they're going to advance
comics,
time, I wager.
Yeah, I don't think she has enough to carry a fucking huge franchise like that.
They better call Marvel because they're trying in print.
Hell, he'll be back. Trust me. Everybody.
He'll be back.
He's died several times, but I think that I don't know if they will or not, but I think their best bet is to reboot it in a few years.
Yeah, I think they'll need a little bit of time. It's kind of like the one superhero characters that mainly it's because of the actors that make them really popular. It's going to be like Hugh Jackman, who plays Tony Stark. I forgot, Robert Downey Jr. Those are characters that are kind of hard if you're needing to replace them. I think they just need time to just let it rest and have us kind of forget, and probably make someone who's kind of more angsty and probably a lot more violent to make up for us thinking about Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. I think the only way they get over it is the very first shot is he's in the full yellow spandex and he's a short fucking 5'2", just barrel of a man.
Right.
Chest hair everywhere.
Yes. It needs to be fucking, it needs to be
Big
Wolverine.
Ass cigar.
Could you imagine how great that would be to see fucking full spandex yellow and blue Wolverine? That'd be great.
Big smoking cigar, chest hair out the front of the ruff of the suit, yellow spandex, saying "bub" everywhere. Yeah, I'd pop like a fucking mint.
And I think that's the only way they replace him.
Sounds like a terrible idea. I'm never gonna do that.
Why does that sound like a terrible idea? I mean, that's what happened with Deadpool. They put him right in the spandex. All of the Marvel movies, they're right in the spandex.
Well,
Look at Captain America.
I don't really like Deadpool, so maybe it's just my opinion.
Do you like superhero movies?
Not really. Like, I didn't think this movie was very good. I mean, I wish we would stop having to watch Marvel movies for this podcast, to be honest. Because, like, every other one is like, let's go see the latest Marvel movie.
You're un-American.
I know.
Well, you are un-American.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
No, I agree. I think after this movie, I'm pretty burnt out on superhero movies.
I'm not. Fuck all you.
Yeah, I can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, me too.
Fuck it.
I just saw Get Out last night, and that movie was super good. And
that was great.
After seeing that, I was like, oh man, I wish we could talk about that movie and not Logan.
I would love to crack my knuckles on all those subtext of that film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's
still
very
yet to
good.
see it.
But if
Millpool's giving it praise, I think that's the only movie I've ever heard him give praise to.
No, he likes Sister Act
Manchester.
too.
Oh yeah, Sister Act 2. And Manchester. And the first half of Toy Story 2.
3. 7.
Well, guys, it's been a fun one.
It has.
Oh, goodness. We've got to rank it. We got to decide where it's going to sit on our Just Okay Movies list of the best movies of all time that we've seen. I forgot what's on the list. Let's see, what is this? The
So we got
fourth
Doctor
episode?
Strange.
Right.
We got
Rogue One.
Rogue One and Logan.
And this.
And every Oscar movie.
We're not ranking
every
Oscar
Oscar
movies.
movie is what,
We
1 to
didn't-
9?
Right, we didn't rank the Oscar movies, so I don't think that's very fair.
Yeah, we'll just do
it-
Rogue One, Doctor
Guido,
Strange, and Logan.
I mean, Guido was right about the Oscar winner. I guess we
Oh,
never
I
did a
meant to
follow
bring
up on
that
that.
up.
Right?
To a
Yeah.
fucking
Like-
T. Like, I didn't expect to be
Yeah.
that right.
Well, technically, I was right for about 10 seconds or so.
But they ripped the awards out of their hands.
Yep.
Give it, oh, wow.
No, we're supposed to give it to the black people.
Black people.
They didn't want to come last year.
So, what do you guys think? Is it better than Doctor Strange?
Well,
No,
Yeah.
not for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like.
I
Doctor
I would
Strange.
watch Logan again over Doctor.
I like
Strange.
Doctor Strange though.
I think I'd watch Doctor Strange over Logan. It's just
Yeah, me
like
too.
they're both movies in the same vein, but Doctor Strange is so like there's so much going on visually that I could enjoy it a second time and spot new things.
Everything
know?
they did in Doctor Strange, despite its foibles and whatnot, is exactly why I like Doctor Strange the comic book.
See,
So, yeah, I like it.
I've got to go with Millpool. I think I would pick Logan over Doctor Strange.
What?
So that
Same.
means you nasty. What do you
No,
think?
I would also put Logan over Doctor Strange.
Holy
Are you, any of you
shit!
guys comic book people? I actually want to explore this.
No.
Oh, I'm not. No,
I mean,
not at all.
We're basing it off of the movie. We're not basing it off of
No,
comic
but
book.
I'm not judging it based on that. I'm just saying it's interesting that the comic book people would prefer to see Doctor Strange. That's what I'm hearing.
much
It's
as-
just a cool fact. That's all. Not a statement of whether or not it's right or wrong.
As much as I thought Logan could have been better, I did appreciate that it was more grounded, I guess, and less fantastical than a regular superhero movie.
Sure.
But it still had all the points that I want out of a superhero movie. It still had all those action scenes. It still had them being a badass, but it was more humanized than other superhero movies, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, it was like the Jason Bourne of superhero movies.
Which I still need to see the final Jason
You
Bourne.
should see as Captain America: Winter Soldier because that's probably the Jason Bourne of superhero movies.
It really is. Yeah.
It's really good. Oh, so
I
much
haven't seen
fun.
it.
So good.
You know, I like the first Captain America a lot. I know it was kind of a mix. People had some mixed feelings on it. I thought it was a blast, but Winter Soldier by far is a way better film. But,
We're talking about
So
Bourne
what do we
movies.
see next time?
Wait, our overall ranking. So I'm gonna go
Oh,
Doctor Strange, Logan,
I thought we
Rogue One.
decided that. That was the whole point. Because
Yeah, but we have to rank
Rogue
it,
One
right?
at 3. Like
Oh, did
that
we?
was our decisions.
I suppose we did. Yeah.
I would say Rogue One, Logan, Doctor Strange.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
Did
Am I
you pick-
contradicting myself here?
I think
don't
you are.
remember.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, no, I can go with that. No, I'd definitely say Logan, Doctor Strange, and Rogue One.
I'm the same as Biggie.
Well, all right then, fellas. So right now, Logan is the best movie of all time.
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree also.
But,
Doctor
I'll
Strange
agree
is the
with
best
Biggie.
movie of all time.
well, I know
No, it's 3-2. Logan is.
Logan. Well, I don't feel like it'll be on there for very long. I know at least in December, if things go well, maybe Star Wars will be incredible. So I have a feeling that one could most definitely knock it off. But hey, we'll see. It's only a couple months away. And I guess for our next film, I don't really know if a lot's really coming out. We may have to just talk about it later and see if there's anything we're interested in.
Yeah, I mean the big movies
When
for
is
the
Guardians?
month. That's May 5th, so
Yeah.
a month from now, pretty much. But the big movies coming out in the next month are like, what, Ghost in the Shell and
Ghost in the
Right.
Shell, yeah.
Baby Boss Baby.
Baby Boss Baby.
Isn't
The new
King,
Korean movie.
isn't King Arthur coming out soon?
Oh,
I
that
didn't know
looks
there-
so lame as fuck.
I didn't know they were making another Arthur movie, King Arthur movie.
Yeah, King Arthur movie in quotes.
What if we just
Let's
pick
play
a
it by
movie
ear,
that's
then.
on like Netflix or something. So then people
Well, that's
that
what I
listen.
was thinking. Yeah, just pick a Netflix movie until a big release comes out.
Okay,
And,
we'll announce it in our Discord once
Yeah.
Biggie picks a movie.
All
Yeah,
right.
that sounds good.
Sounds good.
Well, guys, had a great time, and we'll see everyone next month. Thank you for listening.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Biggie. Thanks, everyone.
Sorry about all the malfunctions.
Yeah.